year. Your Las Vegas Raiders, where a year ago they ousted Derek Carr from the quarterback position, basically held all the statistical records for the Raiders. They let him go to New Orleans. They bring in Jimmy Garappolo, and that's kind of where like the experiment's gone sour and haywire. Yeah, it wasn't really that good. They fired Josh McDaniels after he couldn't really speak up during a coaches meeting or whatever. The players were just like grilling the fuck out of him. And well, they land with a very good piece here. Well, I mean, Max Crosby is a good piece, but I'm going to get us out of here. They land with a very good piece here with Antonio Pierce, the interim guy who becomes the head coach. The players fought for him and all that stuff because, you know, a couple years ago, the Raiders messed up because they didn't get the guy that the players wanted, the interim guy that helped them get over the hump and into the playoffs with Rich Bisaccia. They do it right this time with Antonio Pierce. And, well, there are a couple questions here on this offense if we want to go into there. So, Gardner Minshew.
Before you get going, I do love that, like, the star of the team, Max Crosby's like, if you fire this guy this time, I'm out.
Yeah. Devontae Adams probably would have been out.
I got all the major veterans of this team would have just said, yep, I'm out.
Yeah.
Not doing it. But Gardner Minshew wins the QB1 spot. Yeah, they get Brock Bowers. So really they got a lit tight end room there with Brock Bowers, who was tight end 1 this year, Michael Mayer, who was essentially the tight end 1 to the 2023 draft. Add some couple pieces on the offensive line. Yeah. The only thing I really got to question is running back. I did like Zamir White down the stretch when Josh Jacobs wasn't in. He did play really well, but after Zamir White, it's kind of like, how far down can you go?
Yeah.
Wait, Andres Pete still playing?
Yeah. Believe it or not, he's still playing. I don't know how, but he's still in the league. He's still kicking it. Yeah, I really think the biggest question here is the running back spot. I do like the offensive line. It is, you know, kind of good. It has the pieces there.
It's better than it was at any time under Derek Carr.
It's true.
But yes,
well, they got centers in the draft out of the 2 guys. So I thought Jack Powers is JPJ was one of the best coming out of Oregon in the draft. That's why I really wanted the Steelers to get, and they got the second guy in Zach Frazier. So again, you got to build this thing, and they kept the right coach. This is going to be a team that competes. Again, they're a quarterback away from taking that leap. This could be the Dak Prescott winner next season. This could be the Dak Prescott lottery ticket for the Raiders to then take the jump if they're not going to decide to keep and pay Dak in Dallas, since they're deciding to pay everybody. They're going to do that. But this could be the Dak Prescott winner here in Vegas.
Yeah, I mean, like, the running backs aren't atrocious, so, like, okay. And the O-line, you know, I mean, if the O-line's good, the running back's going to be competently decent. And then, like, you obviously have Devontae Adams. Jacoby Myers is really not bad. I mean, he's had nice stretches of actually being, like, a number 2 or, like, a great number 3. The rest, you know, I mean, like, this team will put offense up. Not every game, but, like, they'll compete, like you said. Yeah.
The Minshew experience. You're going to have games where they put up like, holy cow, this team could be great. And then the next week's like, oh, boy, it's the Minshew experience.
Yeah, that's Minshew in a nutshell.
100%.
I mean, I don't hate O'Connell either, but it's not like.
But you know,
you're not. It's like just, yeah.
Devontae Adams loves O'Connell too.
I mean, he's. I think his ceiling's higher than his floor is higher than Minshew.
Yeah.
Minshew just has those, every once in a while those games where he goes nuts.
Like, as long as you keep Devontae Adams happy, he'll keep you in games. Like, it's weird because he's not as much of a diva as some of the other guys, but, like, he can be if you let him be. And I feel like the Raiders do a lot to make him happy because it is like their dude. Like, if without him, what is this team on offense? So, like, yeah, but if they can keep that up, team could stay in games. I mean, like, you could have a future. So
it's not like the team's like good because, like, I was looking at like the defense, just trying to get some like thoughts around it, the offense, but it's like you have a guy like Antonio Pierce that the players want to play for.
Yeah.
You know, you got like your Harbaugh, you have those guys that they want to play for these coaches. I think he's going to get more than what these players are really like they're doing.
Well, and you have
That's kind of what I'm
Max
saying.
Crosby on your side, who is like the guy.
And as long as you keep Devontae on your side too, like if you can keep dudes like Devontae and this team motivated, I think it's competing almost every week. You know, let's look at the defense though.
Yeah, so shifting over to the defense here, still anchored by Max Crosby, who had a knee injury really early into the season, played through it. I think he was still a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
Isn't it so crazy to think he was a 4th-round pick, and if you just hear the name, you're like, oh, was this guy a 1st-round pick? And then you tell him who the 1st-round pick actually was that same year, and it's just Clellan Ferrell, who was supposed to go in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Put that in the perspective there. Yeah, Christian Wilkins, comes in from Miami. That's really the only notable free agent acquisition. The
New England to Oakland Vegas pipeline
always will.
in Jack Jones.
Jack Jones was cut, and then he really emerged the last month of the season. He had that great, like, weird interception on Easton Stick that Thursday night football game, and he also returned, I think, 2 touchdowns against the Chiefs on Christmas Day.
Tell you what, like, this defense it's better than Broncos, that's for freaking sure. This defense is not bad. This is, again, it's not like amazing, but like
it's a defense that they want to play for. It's a coach they want to play for. And Malcolm Kuntz, I think he's going to have a big emergence of a year. Devine Diablo showed flashes last year.
And
if anyone's going to get I'm not trying to say like Jack Jones is like trouble though, but if Pierce is going to get him back on the right track because he was a part of him at Arizona State when he was there for that brief time. So he's going to get these players back onto the correct track, the correct way.
I don't mind this defense. I think this is going to be such a middle of the road team, but like Colton said, they'll compete like all the time. And like, they're not going to have a lot of wins. They're not going to have all the losses either, but they're going to compete. Like, you're not going to walk in here and roll over them. But
this team has the ability to destroy other teams' hopes in the playoffs who are on the cusp or are in it and they get knocked out of it. Like, this is that type of
This
team.
is not a team I want to play at the end of the season. Let's just when we look at the schedule, we'll see who they play at the back end. This is not a team I want to play at the end of the schedule.
As long as it's still on track. As long as everyone's still motivated, as long as it's still going, as long as the train's still rolling.
The way they made a big deal about keeping Antonio Pierce, that train better be on the track.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be like McDaniel where, he couldn't even speak during a team meeting and all the players started grilling the hell out of him. So, like, Pierce is going to be a guy who can speak up and say his voice because, he's a coach and not, a guy who can't last two years as a head coach.
See, there's a big thing that there's been glossing over. Like, they have a big X factor on defense, especially with the defensive line. Like, a guy like Tyree Wilson right now is a backup. Like, that's a guy last year who should have been in the defensive rookie of the year conversation out of the draft and really had the typical Raiders 1st round rookie year of just picking a guy and falling in his face. Like, that's an immensely talented dude who should be starting opposite Max Crosby that, because of the moves they made, is backing up. If they get any sort of real double-digit contribution out of him,
Christian Wilkins ain't bad too. Add him
their line is a lot better than it was.
I think they could really add a rotation piece, like how the Niners do, the Jets do. Oh hey, you're not going to take Max Crosby off the field though, but oh hey, Malcolm, get out. We're going to put in Tyree and fresh legs.
That's what I'm saying. They makes them deeper just because of a guy should be taking a jump that didn't have the greatest rookie year.
And this is a team effort team too. So it's you could do things this is going to be an interesting season for the Raiders for sure. I think Raiders fans are kind of happy with where it's going too. So okay.
Well, it's because their coach is the most Raider coach of all time.
I mean, everyone in Raider Nation, team and fans are happy, which is a rare thing for Raider Nation. So right now, we'll see by week 3, but
I like it, but
Yeah.
Either way,
We'll see by week 1 actually. So let's just go over to the schedule here. And well, yep. The Chargers week 1, that is, the biggest matchup on the schedule it's a telling point for Pierce, as now instead of interim head coach, it's just head coach, and then Harbaugh, who returns to the league. I don't mind this schedule. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. I say it's a nice, middle of the road kind of one.
It's kind of tough, but
I think it was a tough schedule with the AFC North this year.
yeah.
Then you look at December though, you play the Chiefs on Black Friday. You're going to play the Buccaneers, and who knows what happens in the NFC South. You play the Falcons again. Who knows what's going to happen in the NFC South? They're just playing the Southeast United States for 4 straight weeks.
Literally.
But yeah.
It's going to be. I think we can decisively say that the Broncos are number 4, this team's number 3, Chargers are number 2, and obviously the Chiefs are number 1 in this division. I feel like we can all agree that that's kind of decisively where we're putting these teams.
I would put Raiders, depending on that week 1 game, I would have them 2-3. They're split. Either way.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be a coin flip. I would agree with the head coaching experience. I would go with the Chargers too, but the roster isn't fantastic. It's definitely a work in progress. But the thing is, it's a quarterback-driven league. So, if you're going quarterback ranked 1 through 4, that's how your division usually goes. So, I think it's probably the Chargers. This schedule's brutal, though. Holy
I really think this team can sneak away. You could put a number on it, but I feel like these players are going to play so hard for Pierce that they're going to exceed whatever expectation you put on them.
They got a lot of wins that they shouldn't have last year.
Yeah. It's going to be teams like the Rams that they really compete against. The Broncos, obviously. Even Miami, I could feel like that could be an upset. Falcons, Jaguars. There's teams on here that will not that.
If they don't get the Tua, I don't see. When I look at this schedule, I got playing hard. That only gets you so far.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the Dolphins as a possible upset, which I could see that. Again, if Max Crosby's getting home and Christian Wilkins a little revenge game, if those guys get home, it's going to be a long day. If they can't get the Tua, they're screwed. Yeah. Their back end is going to get lit up like the 4th of July by Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And Odell Beckham's going to be back at that point. They're going to get lit up. When I see the schedule, this is a holy cow. I can give them 2 wins going up to week 11. This is bad. Sure, the Chargers, coin toss, and the Panthers outside on the Broncos. Outside of that, who are they beating in here? Sure, the Steelers they could beat. They're not beating the Browns. They're not beating Baltimore. They're not beating the Bengals. They're not beating the Chiefs, I think. I know it's a division game, so you throw those, split them every year. Is usually the rule of principle there. But what are they getting wins the start of the season? Holy cow. This is probably a 6-7 win team max. It's kind of where I'm at.
Last year's team went 2 in the division, I think. So, I don't know. I'm kind of a 7-win team. And then,
that's right.
Maybe they surprise us here and there. Maybe it's an 8-9 win, I feel like is kind of the ceiling. At the most, we get a couple surprises. But, yeah. I don't know. It is what it is. We are where we are with this team.
I think it's